Hot news update: coronavirus on May 8, 2020. Note, this is a collaborative video made between Travel for All Fanpage and Knowledge of Coronavirus channel. This video is copyrighted by Travel for All Fanpage and Knowledge of Coronavirus channel. Please respectfully welcome everyone. The following is the remarkable news most on May 8 as follows. 1. US News. The unemployment rate in the U.S. soared to 14.7%. It is noted that a record number of 20.5 million U.S. jobs was lost in April. Perhaps April 2020 is marked in U.S. history as the biggest job-losing month since officials started tracking the data. California will begin loosening some restrictions today. Updated 8:56 a.m. ET, May 8, 2020. In a related development, California became the first state to borrow money from the federal government to afford the rising number of unemployment benefits because of COVID-19, according to Fox News. The state with the largest population in the nation has borrowed $348 million, the US Treasury spokesman said. According to many economists, although President Trump has tried to push to reopen the economy, the hope for a quick recovery is probably losing. This week, many people in the U.S. also recognized that with the fact that things opened too early and measures to keep the social gap relaxed, there could be an increase in other mutations. Trump publicly acknowledged for the first time that some Americans might die when the states began to reopen and restrictions on economic life were relaxed. U.S. President Donald Trump last week threatened to impose new taxes on China because of dissatisfaction with its treatment of the pandemic and suspicion of pathogens stemming from a laboratory in Wuhan. In addition, President Trump threatened to cancel the first phase agreement if China did not keep its commitment, including the provision to buy an additional $200 billion of U.S. goods. But looking at the actual situation has changed. Concerning the prevention of the COVID-19 epidemic in the U.S., President Trump said the task force at the White House will continue to be maintained, according to USA Today. Previously, it was reported that this group would reduce staffing while the U.S. focused more on addressing the aftermath of a pandemic. According to Johns Hopkins University, the U.S. recorded a total of 1,228,177 cases of COVID-19 infection with 73,207 deaths and 189,910 recoveries. President Trump considered adding economic bailouts. U.S. President Donald Trump, on May 7, announced that his administration was considering additional economic measures, possibly through executive orders, to support the damage caused by the coronavirus pandemic. In response to a reporter's question at the White House whether there would be more direct subsidies for citizens, Mr. Trump said, "Something is possible. There is talk of something about to happen. We will know what will happen." 2. News from WHO. Reuters reported on World Health Organization, WHO, that the wholesale market in Wuhan City, Hubei Province, China, is the source or possibly the diffuse environment of the new strain of coronavirus, SARS-CoV-2, caused COVID-19 and called for further research. Chinese authorities closed the market in January to prevent the coronavirus from spreading and ordered a suspension of wildlife trade and consumption. U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo said that there is some significant evidence that the virus originated from a laboratory in Wuhan, though he was not sure. There is no official evidence showing this, while scientists believe that the virus comes from the natural environment. 3. England News. The number of deaths from COVID-19 in the UK exceeded 30,000, with the weakened variant of the new coronavirus being detected. On May 7, British Foreign Minister Dominic Raab confirmed that there was no miracle to prevent the spread of the COVID-19 pandemic in nursing homes and hospitals, but the UK was confident of having a plan feasible to solve the problem. The Bank of England, on the same day warned the economy could fall to its lowest level in more than 300 years due to blockade measures to curb the spread of COVID-19. 4. World updates. Update in 08 May 2020 GMT +7 worldwide. 3,918,745 people are infected, including 270,769 deaths. More specifically, in Spain, 256,855 people became ill and 26,070 died. In the United States, 1,292,879 people became ill and 76,942 died. In Italy, 215,858 people became ill and 29,958 died. In the UK, 206,715 people were sick and 30,615 died. 5. News from China. Chinese scientists discovered a new coronavirus, SARS-CoV-2, causing COVID-19 in this infected male semen. The findings were published by Chinese experts in the JAMA Network Open Journal of the American Medical Association on May 7. However, experts say further research is needed to determine whether SARS-CoV-2 causing COVID-19 is sexually transmitted. Because this study is limited by a small number of research samples and more research is needed to more specifically identify the incident. 6. Vietnam news. The flight that brought back more than 340 U.S. citizens to avoid COVID-19 landed at Van Don Airport, Quang Ninh, today. Passengers and crew are subjected to medical checks and isolation according to regulations after returning on a flight from San Francisco, California, USA, according to a State Department notice. Citizens are allowed to return home from many U.S. states, including many children under the age of 18, international students, with no accommodation due to dormitories closed, seniors, people with underlying medical conditions and special cases. Other difficulties. The flight was originally scheduled to return on May 2 but was unexpectedly delayed due to a flight license problem, leaving some citizens stranded at San Francisco Airport. They have to rent a room in the airport or nearby to wait for the day to return. Until 21 o'clock on May 8, no new cases of COVID-19 were recorded. Vietnam has had 288 cases of COVID-19. A total of 241 people were cured. 7. French news. As of May 8 morning in France, there have been an increase of 178 cases, totaling 25,987 people. In addition, France also recorded 23,208 COVID-19 patients hospitalized, including 2,961 people under intensive care. Thus, the number of serious patients requiring intensive care in France has decreased continuously for the past 29 days. The total number of positive cases with COVID-19 in France to date is 174,791 people, an increase of 600 cases from the previous day. On the same day, Health Minister Olivier Véran confirmed that France was ready to deploy the testing on a large scale. People who are tested in the short term will be at high risk, have symptoms and have close contact with COVID patients. 19. 8. Spanish news. Spain on May 7 again saw ominous signals when the number of deaths showed signs of increasing again. Spain recorded a total of 256,855 COVID-19 patients, including 26,070 deaths, an increase of 213 cases from the previous day. Currently, Spain ranks second in the world after the US to the total number of COVID-19 cases and fourth in the world in the number of deaths after the US, UK and Italy. Previously, with 178 votes in favor and 75 votes against, the Spanish National Assembly approved Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez's proposal to extend the national emergency order by 2 weeks. Accordingly, the emergency order expiring on May 10 will continue to be valid until May 23. This is also the fourth time that Spain has extended the emergency situation for another 2 weeks to strengthen efforts and protect achievements in the prevention of COVID-19. 9. Italy news. The Italian Civil Protection Agency announced that in the past day, the country had recorded 1,401 cases of COVID-19, bringing the total number of COVID-19 infections to 215,858. The number of deaths from the pandemic in Italy also increased by 274 to a total of 29,958 people. 10. Russian news. In Russia, on May 7, the country recorded 11,231 cases of SARS-CoV-2 virus, a record daily increase, bringing the total number of COVID-19 cases to 177,160. Russia's COVID-19 task force said there were 88 deaths in the past day, bringing the total number of COVID-19 deaths in the country to 1,625. In particular, Moscow remains the most heavily affected locality, with 6,703 new virus cases recorded. Speaking in a live news program on Russia 24 television channel, Moscow Mayor Sergei Sobyanin said that the actual number of 19 cases of COVID infections in the Russian capital could reach 2.5% of the city's population, that is, equivalent to about 300,000 cases. 11. Japanese news. On May 7, some areas of Japan reopened their schools after a period of closure to prevent the spread of the COVID acute respiratory infection. 19. Schools in Aomori and Tottori prefectures are the first schools in Japan to reopen, although the country is in an emergency state, announced by Prime Minister Shinzo Abe last month and lasts until the end of May 31. Japan's Ministry of Health says the government has licensed the remdesivir antiviral drug manufactured by Gilead Sciences, a US drug company, to treat patients with COVID disease 19. This is the first drug in Japan are licensed to treat this dangerous disease. 12. South Korea and Southeast Asia news. By the morning of May 8, Korea recorded a total of 10,810 cases of COVID-19 and 256 deaths. By the end of May 7, Southeast Asia recorded a total of over 54,200 cases of COVID-19 and over 1,800 deaths. In the past 24 hours, only Indonesia and the Philippines recorded deaths from acute respiratory infections, but 8 countries in the region reported cases of COVID-19. According to Worldometer's info, as of 23:59 on May 7, Southeast Asia had a total of 54,287 COVID-positive cases, an increase of 1,494 cases compared to the previous day. 13. Egyptian news. Egypt announced that the country had detected 393 cases of COVID-19, marking a record increase of the day, bringing the total number of cases to 7,981 people. Besides, the number of deaths due to this dangerous disease also increased by 13 cases, to a total of 482 cases. According to Egyptian Health Ministry spokesman Khaled Meghed, the number of patients recovered and discharged from the hospital was 72 people, bringing the total number of patients recovered to 1,887. COVID-19 positive cases were mildly or asymptomatic, with quarantine at youth hostels or university dormitories, while isolated hospital treatment beds were reserved for patients with symptoms or worse. 14. South Africa news. The South African government was forced to temporarily close schools 7 weeks ago to prevent an acute respiratory infection, COVID-19, and at the same time disrupt the national nutrition program that provides meals for 9 million children. Poor families. South Africa's Ministry of Health on 8 May announced that it had recorded 424 COVID-19 cases in the past 24 hours, bringing the total number of COVID-19 cases to 8,232 people, including 161 deaths. Our newsletter is now over. Thank you for always watching and supporting our videos. Knowledge of Coronavirus, Channel and Travel for All Fanpage respectfully, and see you in the next video. 15. Other news about COVID-19. According to the Independent Daily, scientists at the University of Southampton, UK, have built a model of COVID-19 and revealed the virus is disguised with a layer of sugar molecule shield, called glycan when invading the body. However, the camouflage layer of this strain is not as strong as other types, such as HIV is the virus that causes the immunodeficiency syndrome. Professor Max Crispin, who led the research team, said the group's model will provide important and useful information to scientists in the development of the COVID-19 vaccine. Our newsletter is now over. Thank you for always watching and supporting our videos. knowledge of coronavirus, channel and travel for all fantas respectfully, and see you in the next video.